I partnered up with the gentleman that owned Blake's Home Improvement.
Mhm.
And he saw my fight. He saw, you know what, look at this girl. He knew where I came from. He knew I grew up in the ghetto. He knew that my parents came from North, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this girl a chance. And within 2 to 3 years' time, I became a partner. And when he passed away, obviously I became full 100% WBE of Blake's Home Improvement.
Why construction?
Because you know what? I like to see the finished product. I love to build. I love when people get to their homes and they want a kitchen remodel or a basement remodel, and I'm there to help them pick colors, to help them design it. And when the product is fully completed, I'm also there to see the smile on their faces. I'm there to bring happiness to people is what I do. To help them design.
I ask about construction because that is a field that is usually dominated by men.
Absolutely.
And usually not men of color.
No.
So what led you to construction?
My father worked with Blanchard Construction Company in New Jersey. And, my father was an alcoholic, so he would take me with him. And I would sneak away from him and I would watch. They did a lot of commercial building. They also did residential building. I was like 6 or 7 years old when I knew that I wanted to build. I wanted to be a part of the future. I wanted to build, because I also do commercial construction as well. And for me, I never saw a female. It was all predominantly Caucasian men running the show. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to get into this. And I was 7 years old when I knew what I wanted to do.
Well, after being in business 38 years, how many other female construction owners have you encountered?
Not a one.
Not one.
Not one. And only 2 minorities, men.
And why do you think that is?
I'm not really sure. Honestly, up in the Pocono area, it's predominantly Caucasian men that are the contractors, even in the commercial end of it. I'm not really sure if they're afraid, if something is stopping them, or if they're just not getting the funding.
Well, that's a big issue, funding. For someone who wants to start a construction business, what advice would you give them?
First of all, I would tell them to go to Harrisburg, find out what they need to start the business, the requirements, the permits, the certifications that are required, and the type of construction that you want to do. I went all out. I'm a general contractor, so I do everything. But there are some people who just want to do framing, that just want to do painting, plumbing, electrical. So that is really your first step, is figuring out what you want to get into. What part of construction do I want to get into? And don't be afraid. I wasn't scared. When I would go on people's properties and they would see me, and I'm talking in the early 80s, where they would see me and I was literally told, get that stick off my property.
Well, you're from Newark, so you're probably not afraid of anything.
No, absolutely not.
But for a lot of people, they go down to Harrisburg, they get the permits, they find out all the information they can about the construction business. The issue is funding.
Well, there are grants available, but realistically, you do need startup money.
Right.
You do need at least. When I started, I had 15,000, and I saved. I would imagine today you would need more than that. You would need, property. You would need a location, and you have to go to a bank. Go to a bank and write your ideas on paper and present them to a bank loan officer.
So now you said you're a general contractor.
Yep.
So that means you're into every aspect of building a home.
Yes.
How much of this actual work do you do yourself?
I actually did construction work myself up until, I would say, about 11 years ago.
Right.
Because I am a cancer survivor.
Ah.
So I have had 27 surgeries.
27?
27 surgeries. And in one of those surgeries, I had to have a total hip replacement because the tumors prevented blood flow to my right hip, which then gave me avascular necrosis.
Mm-hmm.
So prior to that, I was installing gutters, siding, roofing, decking, windows, doors, painting, bathroom remodels, cabinets, kitchen cabinets. I did a lot of the demo. I would go in there, tear everything down, and start from scratch and build myself. I would go up on roofs, do the ice water shield, do ridge vents, hammer down the shingles. But because of what happened, the crisis that I hit 11 years ago with my cancer, I had to stop.
Well, how many women do you employ?
You want to know something? I don't employ any females.
And why is that?
Because they just don't feel comfortable working in the construction industry. And it's sad. It's sad because you can make good money.
You know, that's interesting because I guess for the past 50, 60 years, women have been venturing into what would be considered male-dominated fields.
Absolutely.
Like police work, fire, corrections, construction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you go into, I'm from New York originally.
Okay.
And you go into New York now,
Mm-hmm.
and you see women on some of these construction sites.
Okay.
Wearing the hard hat, carrying the hammer, whatever other tools they have in their belt, and actively involved. Here, what you see, you tend to see more women doing the flagger sort of job.
Absolutely.
Right. Which I guess they're basically an apprentice.
Yeah, you're an apprentice when you're flagging.
Okay. And you can't seem to attract any women into your organization.
Absolutely not. I've actually had a couple of Caucasian women come into my office, and they would speak to me, and when they would say, well, I want to talk to the owner,
Mm-hmm.
I would look at them and say, well, I am the owner. And I've been told, well, I'm not working for no stick.
Ah, really?
Yes, I've been told that. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's up to you. But I already know most of the contractors in the area aren't hiring. I'm hiring.
Right.
I'm going to be paying you $30 an hour to do your carpentry work, but yet because of my nationality, because of my race, you don't, and I'll never forget this one woman, Caucasian female, said to me, well, I'm very sorry, but I was always taught not to work for a minority.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that was like I was woke at that moment. And that literally punched me in the face. And I thought, this is really interesting. Maybe that's why women aren't into, like, I don't know. I do encourage a lot of young females to take up a trade if they don't want to go to college. Take up carpentry, take up plumbing, take up electrical work, because you will find a contractor that's going to hire you, and you can be the best that you can be, and you can actually grow in a company. Now, I do employ a lot of minority men,
Mm-hmm.
And they love working for me.
Well, in this area,
Mm-hmm.
in order to get into, say, carpentry, there are a limited number of spots. Like I know that up at the Votech,
Mm-hmm.
they do teach carpentry
Yes, they do.
and some of the other skills related to the construction trade. But you can only get so many students in there
Mm-hmm.
per year.
Yes.
And a lot of the students who may be graduating from Votech may not want to stay in this area.
Yes. I think a lot of it is the pay.
Exactly.
It is the pay. That's why I pay my people well. Like a carpenter first coming in, we start them at 20 an hour.
Right.
Where a lot of the other contractors will pay them 15 to 18 an hour. I do 20.
And that goes according to experience, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what about somebody coming out of Votech?
Then I would start them at 15.
Okay.
And we would train them. because we've gotten students out of OTEC. As a matter of fact, the kid, he was in Tamaqua, Pennsylvania, young black dude came to me and he was like, nobody will hire me. And I said to him, well, there's a reason for that. And he says, well, I don't want to say because of my skin color. And I said, all right, well, I'll hire you. He started out as a laborer and he is now my head foreman.
Really?
Yes.
Well, as a woman and what's called a minority, what's some of the greatest challenges you face in this area?
My race. That's it. That is one of the greatest challenges when I go to the township meetings, when I go to the builders meetings, when I go to the building association meetings. I look around the room and I am the only minority and I'm the only female. And that has been one of the biggest challenges ever in my life. Anything else I've overcome. Even being a cancer survivor, I learned that life goes on. And I have that tag, life goes on. Because no matter what happens to you, people don't care unless it's happening to them.
Right.
So I had to keep my business going at all costs. And my biggest war was being a female and a minority female on top of it.
Well, how has that affected your business?
It has affected my business to a point where I would have to pretend I wasn't an owner.
Really?
Yes. I would have to sit back and pretend that I was the receptionist in order to get a good reputation. One of the biggest things, especially where I'm at, is that there's a lot of rural areas in the back of the mountain where if they see a minority, the first thing they want to do is shoot you.
Right.
And I've had to actually pretend that I wasn't an owner in order to get business.
Well, what about business from the Black and brown community?
I would say in the last 15 years, I've been getting a lot of business with them. In the last, I would say, maybe 12 years. The brown community, the Black community have been coming to me. And then I'll tell you, one of the challenges with that is that I've come across females that are jealous.
Well, that kind of par for the course.
And it's sad, though, that you would be jealous of, especially a minority who is making it. And my company has been around, like I said, for 42 years. I've been around 38 years. I'm not going anywhere. So when I see a minority woman with the jealousy, and I've actually heard females tell their husbands, I don't want to do work with her. I don't trust her. I don't trust her. And that sticks with me.
Right.
Because I think to myself, well, then you would rather trust a Caucasian contractor in your home who ultimately is going to, excuse the expression, screw you over. And then you're going to come to me crying a few months down the road that you should have come to me. And then I got to clean up their mess, which has happened.
Well, in terms of, say, advertising, do you advertise within a Black and brown community?
We advertise in all the developments, but I don't really do heavy advertising because I don't need to. With my company, I have such an impeccable reputation that it's word of mouth.
Well, the thing is, now I've been here for 26 years, and this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah.
Right? Which is sad.
Yeah, it is.
Because I came in a wave. Like there was a wave of people coming out here from New York and New Jersey looking to build homes.
Yeah.
If we knew of you, now what led us here, in many respects, was the advertisements on KISS FM, the WBLS. During that time, early 90s, there was a company called Wiring that you might be familiar with. Gene Percudani.
Okay.
So they were heavily advertising in the New York, New Jersey region. So a lot of people came out because this was a fabulous deal.
Yeah.
So we thought. And a lot of people ended up losing their homes.
Yeah.
Because of course, the overinflated appraisals, the shoddy work, things of that
That's
nature.
right.
So many years ago, I was the NAACP president for Monroe County. And during that time, this county, in this Pennsylvania, had the highest foreclosure rate in the country.
Yeah.
So if we knew, so it's kind of important that people of color network and interact with other people of color so that we know. So when somebody comes out to visit and says, hey, it's nice around here, it's nice and quiet, I'm tired of the city, I want to get out, where can I go find a reputable builder? So that's how we need to know who you are, where you are, how to get in contact with you.
Absolutely.
So how do we do that?
Well, I am on Facebook. I do advertise in the Home Builders magazine, and it's also word of mouth.
Right.
But I am going to say this. In the 90s, when that wave was coming here, a lot of the builders pushed me out.
Right.
Because I'm a female and because I was honest. And I would tell the potential client, don't go with this person or don't go with this appraiser because this is what's going to happen to you.
Right.
And they didn't like that because they all stuck together.
They all work together.
Yeah, and they knew. So whenever I was around, they would hush me out. They would shut me out. And it was easy to do being a minority because there are absolutely no minorities in this area other than myself, and I'm up in Mount Pocono. So I did a lot of my building and build my reputation up in the Mount Pocono area. I recently started doing work in this area, in East Stroudsburg, Middle Smith Township, Tannersville. We started venturing out this way. Sadly, when the contractors started folding their doors, when the doors started shutting on them and they had bad reputations, then people started reaching out to me.
Well, you said you're up in Mount Pocono.
Yes.
Well, when I came out to look at homes, and this is the 90s, there would be two areas that developers or builders would generally take you to. They took you up to Bushkill, and they took you to Tobyhanna.
Yep.
And that was pretty much it. Basically, the center of the county was pretty much off limits.
Yeah.
And a lot of us who ended up in Tobyhanna area, right?
PCP.
Probably could have benefited if they knew you. If they knew you were in business, they're looking to build a house. And let's be realistic. If you grew up in New York, New Jersey, right, or surrounding areas, what do you really know about building a house?
Well, I know this.
Now, I'm not saying you, I'm saying in general. For
Okay.
people who coming out here this way, what do they know about building a house?
Absolutely.
You know, for the most part, how many of us know about the building codes?
None, unless you're a builder.
Absolutely. How many of us knew what quality construction looked like?
I would say 0%.
Right, unless you were in the trade in New York or New Jersey, then you knew, okay, you know what? You just roughing the plumbing, I'll do the rest. You roughing the electricity, I'll do the rest, right? But if you didn't know, if you had no experience in construction, how would you know?
You wouldn't.
Right.
You would not know.
And that's how so many people end up losing their homes.
Absolutely.
So that's why I think it's important to know who you are. You know, do you have a goal to say some of the organizations and just say, hi, I'm Maria?
I have, like I said, in the 80s and 90s, I have literally, I would come into this area and hand cards and I would watch people throw them away. I knew that it was like the boys club. That was the biggest problem for me, was it was the boys club. So here this Latina is coming in, acting like she's all that. No, we're not going to let that happen. So when I would convince some people, like I have had the opportunity for PCP, to Tobyhanna and Saw Creek in Bushkill, where I had the opportunity, because I did a lot of work in Saw Creek. would sit with the customer and say, do not trust this person. This is what's going to happen to you. Some of them didn't believe me. Some of them did. Some of them went with my company. And the ones that didn't believe me ended up losing their homes and contacting me years later saying, you know something, Maria, I should have trusted you.
Right.
Because my thing is that I'm from where you're from.
Right.
I know that a lot of these builders, even to this day, will treat you as if you don't know what you're doing or what you're talking about.
But now, Maria, yes, there is prejudice and racism wherever you go.
Absolutely.
And people won't want to deal with you because you don't look like them. However, people want quality.
Absolutely.
People, when they come up here and they're building their dream home, they don't want the roof to fall in 6 months. So if your product that you're putting out is better than X or Y, people are going to look at you, what you built, how sturdy the foundation is, how sturdy the building is, does it hold up? And if yours is better, doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter where you come from, people want quality. Because let's be realistic. A home is probably going to be your biggest investment in your life.
Absolutely.
Unless you're a rich person, your home's going to be your biggest investment.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
And that home, if it is managed properly, can send your kids to college.
Yes.
It can be used as an investment, right, to buy other properties.
Yes.
Right? So there's a lot riding on your home and its condition. So people might say, well, you know, Maria, she's Puerto Rican. I don't want to deal with her. But let's compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges.
Absolutely.
Who's better? So you've been in business here for over 30 years.
Yes.
Okay. And I would imagine you have a lot of satisfied customers.
Yes, I did.
But that's the problem, Maria. We don't know it.
Well, you know what's so ironic is that now is the becoming of Blake's Home Improvement. Because now people from Soil Creek, from Bushkill are contacting me. People from PCP are calling me and telling me, you know something, you got a good reputation. I need you to come to my home because this person did this, and this, and I don't know what to do. And I will go there and I will handle it. I will take care of it. And right now, this is my time. Right now is that's why I'm here. That's why I wanted to be public about what is happening. And as a minority woman, how hard it was for me, but I never closed my doors. I continue to push forward and to fight no matter how many men tried to hush me, how many men tried to push me to the side. And right now, what you're saying is becoming. I am not kidding. I have people contacting me, telling me you have such an impeccable reputation from the developments, from Arrowhead Lakes, Emerald Lakes, oh my gosh, Thomasine Trails, Indian Mountain Lake. They all recommend me. They all tell their people that live in their development, do not call any other contractor but Maria. She will look out for you because she's honest. Okay, Maria. Let's talk a little bit about other aspects of your business. So let's say somebody's looking to remodel a home. Yes.
Is that something you do?
Absolutely.
Okay. So basically, anything to do with the home, you pretty much do. Yes.
As a general contractor, we do kitchen remodels, bathroom, basement enclosures, crawl spaces. We will take your whatever, your basement and make it a rec room. If you want a bathroom, put a closet. We will turn your closet into a bathroom. My company does anything and everything.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. So I know a lot of people are looking to remodel their home.
Yes.
Especially people who have been here as long as I have.
Yes.
Because you got to figure, 25, 26 years, the roof needs to be replaced. Absolutely. Siding needs to be replaced. Kitchens need to be upgraded, bathrooms, the whole gamut.
T111 rotting.
Right.
That's
Right.
another big issue around here.
The insulation. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So where's your office located?
We are located in Blakesley, Pennsylvania, right on 940, Route 940.
Okay. Okay. So you're pretty much up there.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I mean, I live in Readers.
Oh my God, we do a lot. We do work in Readers.
Really?
Yes, I do work in Readers, Canadensis, Effort, Broadheadsville, Tannersville, East Stroudsburg, and like I said, it's only within the last few years that my company has started to shine.
Okay. So you do work in Readers. So when you're on a construction, or your company's on a construction site, how often do you come?
I actually show up pretty much every other day, depending on the size of the project. If it's a roofing project, I'll come the day that the roof is going to get done. I talk to the customers. I make sure the materials are there. I make sure I give my vendors the check for the materials because I always pay up front. And my roofers are Mexican and Ecuadorian, and being a Latina, I'm able to communicate with them, and then I leave. And if there's an issue, they call me and I will go back if I have to.
So in other words, we would see your face on the site.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Because that's important.
Absolutely.
Because usually, and I found this with the building of my home. So the company that built my home is going away business. There was a company called Blue Mountain Craftsman.
Yes.
And well, we actually started with LTS.
Okay.
That's another story.
Yeah.
So we ended up with Blue Mountain Craftsman.
Okay.
And they had a pretty good reputation for building homes. But when we began our project, and there were several others who were in that time frame, were contracted with LTS. I'm sorry, with Blue Mountain Craftsman. What happened was he was going out of business. I guess he was overextended. So what he would do is he would apparently take money from one job to finish another.
He was Robin Hooding it. Yep.
Right. So during that time, and I'm not sure if they still do it this way, they used to release your money in drawers. So once your foundation was in, the bank will release that portion of funds. So apparently what some of these companies were doing was they were charging more for the foundation.
Yes.
So there will be less once the house is under roof. There will be less money, so you'd have to dip into your savings or maybe take out a second mortgage in order to finish your house.
Yes.
Okay. But again, we didn't know about you.
Well, that's what happens with a lot of builders, the additionals. And that is what I tell people. Be careful because there's always additionals. And that is where you're sidetracked and you have to start dipping in your own pocket and dipping into your savings. And that's just a bunch of BS because you should be able, whatever we quote you is what the price is going to be. The only time that we go off track is if we're doing a repair and you remove, say, the T111, there's more rot involved. And one thing my company, because I do deal with a lot of females, that we can get you a loan, a construction loan, depending on what type of, how you want to work it. I don't get involved with that, but we do provide financing for our people that want to do remodeling, people that had a catastrophic problem where trees fell on their home, wiped their home out. We will help them to rebuild, and we also help them with the insurance process. And like I said, you're right. It's sad that a lot of people of color don't know Maria Hernandez. They don't know me. They don't know they know Blakesley Home Improvement because I actually did speak with someone who was like, "Oh my God, Blakesley Home Improvement's been around a long time. I didn't know you were an owner."
Right.
But as I mentioned, there was a period of time where I kind of stayed in the shadows because I didn't care. I wasn't concerned about what someone thought about me personally. I wanted my baby to grow.
Right.
And I allowed it to grow to the point now that I'm ready to put my foot out there and say, well, guess what? I'm the owner. I am the president of this company, and I'm the one that fixed your home. It wasn't this person.
Right.
It wasn't Robert, or it wasn't George. It was me.
Right.
It was me that put everything together. It was me that got the workers there for you, and it was me who helped to rebuild your nest egg.
Okay, so one of the problems that I saw, and it still exists today, is that you contract with a company, and because of the pandemic and other issues, there's not enough labor to get the job done. So you see a guy come and work on a house, maybe 2 or 3 guys will show up at a site. They'll work on a house for a couple of days, then you won't see them for another 2 weeks.
Well, that's because they got your money up front.
Exactly. So they're off working on another site, getting more money up front.
That's right.
Right. So what's different about your company?
What's different about my company is that, and I'm very proud of the fact that when we start a job, we don't leave that job till it's complete. 100%.
So
we don't start other projects just to get money into the company.
So in other words, you have ample labor.
We do. We have enough guys. Plus, I have subs that I deal with as well. But if I start a siding job, I'm not going to leave that siding job until it is 100% completed. I will not go, and that is the biggest issue with a lot of the contractors. They will go looking for deposits and startups to put monies in their pockets to take care of payroll. I don't do that. I will touch my own monies to pay my guys, because I have never missed payroll with any of my guys. So I will go into my own pocket, and we do progress payments with our customers for siding, for roofing, for any job. It's progress payments. We actually only take like a small deposit, a $500 deposit, and then we have you pay for the materials that are going to be delivered to your home the same day. And then we have the startup payment the day we start your job.
So Maria, let me ask you this, because I know a lot of women, personally, who want to start a business, not necessarily construction, but they want to start a business. This is their dream. What would you say to them?
I would say, do it. Open your eyes, because you can accomplish just about anything. You know, my biggest fear was when I had cancer, and I thought my dream was going to be flushed down the toilet, because I thought I was meeting death. And instead, I turned it around and made myself get up every day and go to my office and show up. If you want to start a company, show up. Write a plan. Go to the bank with your plan and explain and find a location, find a storefront. Do it. Stop. The biggest issue with females is that you have a lot of men. Oh my God, you can't do that. Don't, oh my God. For me, the minute someone says I can't do something, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And you have to do it. Just get up and do it. Step out the door and do it.
I think that most people, and I'm talking about specifically women who want to get into a business, I think their greatest fear is finding the funding. You know, because let's be realistic. If you are a family and both husband and wife work, you have children, you have a home, you don't want to jeopardize risking your home and your security. You want to be able to secure loans, grants, things of that nature, right? So you can start your business, so you don't jeopardize your home. So in terms of funding, what advice would you give?
I would personally save money. Save up at least $10,000.
But that's hard.
It is, but you can do it. But you can do it. Make sacrifices. Let me tell you something. That is what I've heard my whole life. Oh my God, but that's hard. That's not, girl, that's going to break you. But you want to know something? If I listened to everyone that told me how hard that is, I wouldn't be here today.
Right.
So you have to, if you want to fulfill your dream, and I am talking specifically to minority women, because it's hard for us.
Mhm.
It is. It's hard for Latinas, for Black women, any woman of color. It is hard because everyone, you're always going to hear, oh my God, you're not going to be able to do it. What happens if this happens and you lose everything, your family, this, you got to get out of that mindset and try to save. Or get a partner and the two of you save. Find someone that has that same interest and that same passion, and then find a storefront or a location or work out of your home.
Mhm.
Work out of your home, and then take it to a bank. Show the bank how passionate you are, because somebody one day is going to say yes to you.
Well, now you said that you do seminars.
Mm-hmm.
Is one of those, in your seminar, do you talk about starting a business?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how often do you do those seminars?
I do them once a month in my office.
Okay.
Yep, once a month.
So would you suggest that women who want to start a business come and sit down with you?
Absolutely. Because I'm a tough woman. I'm not a hard woman. I'm not. Because I got so much love, and believe it or not, I love to see a woman make it. And if I can help any female out there fulfill a dream, I will do that. And I will help you take those fears and erase them. Because you want to know something, even with women, even their husbands, you will have a husband tell you, you can't do this, you're going to hurt the family. Oh my God, it's going to be hard. How are you going to balance your time? You got to step away from that. And you have to get some alone time and figure it out. Because at the end of the day, you are doing this for your family. You're doing this for yourself. So you got to stop listening. Stop. Because you want to know something? I got into this when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I was 19 years old and had nothing. Came from the ghettos, pulled myself out of it and started to pick up a hammer, started to learn. I was self-taught. And if I listened to, including my own mother and father, telling me, you can't, oh my God, you can't do this, oh God, you're going to get hurt. I had to shut those people out. Even the people you love, you sometimes have to shut them out to pursue your dream, whether it's baking, whether it's construction, whether it's a nail salon, a hair salon. At the end of the day, anything you do is risk. You have to take that risk, and you can't be scared of failing, because then you're failing already. If you go into something with the mindset that, oh God, I could fail, then don't do it. Then don't do it. If you're scared, don't do it. You got to have that fearless attitude. I'm a woman and I'm gonna make it. No matter what. No matter what happens. If I gotta end up taking money out of my own account to get things rolling, then that is what you are gonna do. There was a time when my company almost went under. And every day I would go into my savings and I would pay my guys. I would pay for materials. I had to get a line of credit. I would pay that off, and I struggled. I went without food. I went without whatever. I did whatever I had to do, and I made it. I took my company out of the trenches of hell and put us back on the board. And it was scary. And if I listened to men, especially men, you're not going to, oh my God, this is so hard. You see, I knew you couldn't do it. Really? Because I'm doing it. And now, 38 years later, here I am.
Right. Well, you have I guess, a very interesting story, a very motivational story.
Absolutely.
And again, it brings me back to what I said before about us not knowing you. It's important that for young girls who have dreams of one day owning and starting their own business. I'm talking young girls of color.
Absolutely.
It's important that they see you, that they hear your story, that you tell them that, look, I came from a disenfranchised neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up wealthy. Everything I have, I fought for tooth and nail.
Absolutely.
That's why it's so important that we know who you are, that we know how to find you, how to reach out to you. Because realistically, what's happening is there's another wave of people coming out here from New York and New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, house prices here are beginning to skyrocket.
Absolutely.
And that is because the pandemic has frightened so many people in New York and New Jersey who were trapped in this apartment, afraid to leave. Their children can't go to school. So here you are in a 2-bedroom apartment and no one can leave.
Yeah.
You come out here, you buy a house, you have an acre of land, your children can go out, you can run around. You need and you want the space. So there's another wave coming.
Oh, absolutely, there is.
So now it's really important, right, that they know, okay, Maria Hernandez, Blakesley Home Improvement. We need to know how to find her.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right.
Well, this I'm going to say, you are correct about the wave coming out, but buyer beware.
Right.
Because that wave that is coming, they are buying up the inventory that has been sitting for years.
Yes, they are.
And my company, believe it or not, I'm in that wave right now. We are literally 20 to 25 weeks out on work because one of the seminars I do is on Sundays, we have buyers that come in and sit with me. And I'm not saying it's really just for minorities, but most of them are minorities.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit and I tell them what to look for, what not to look for, and I will go with them and look at the home that they're purchasing because I know the inventory that is out here, including East Stroudsburg, Bushkill. There are homes that are so rotted out that the banks are making them look beautiful, and they're truly rotting.
The exterior.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So my company has now hit that wave. It's a tsunami. There is no inventory in the Poconos at all. And I have a lot of people of color that have come to me freaking out because they closed on the home and they said the same thing you said. Oh my God, I wish I knew you. Like, oh my God, I found out about you because I went to the community house and they said, you got to contact Maria. Contact Maria, she'll help you. So I am now dealing with that wave of people that have bought up the inventory, but now the homes need, I would say, $80,000 and up in repairs on the homes.
So would you say at this time, it's a seller's market?
I would say yes, it's a seller's market because people are so desperate that they will bid on homes up to $300,000-$400,000 that aren't even worth $120,000.
Yeah, I've seen some people that pay over the asking price.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. So Maria, give us your email address, your website, your phone number, so we can reach out to you.
Absolutely. My email address is mhernandez.bhi@gmail.com. The company is Blakesley Home Improvement. Our address is 373 Route 940 in Blakesley, PA, 18610. And the contact phone number is 570-646-8498. And you can also find me on Facebook. And I also have a webpage that shows anything and everything that my company is able to do.
And what's the webpage?
It is BlakesleyHomeImprovement.com.
Okay. Okay, so now we know where you are.
Absolutely.
We know how to find you.
Mm-hmm.
So now when we have these construction jobs or remodeling jobs,
Yes.
we know who to reach out to you.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to, just because I'm a woman. I just had to throw that out there, sorry.
And when is your next seminar?
I have my next seminar in 2 weeks on a Sunday. I do
office?
Sunday at my office, yes.
Okay.
And that is for anyone looking to purchase a home in the area that is afraid because they don't know what they're getting themselves into. And if they don't know the area, if they don't know the development that they're buying in, I am very knowledgeable of every single development in the Pocono area.
Okay. And the next seminar for women, who want to start businesses? When will that be held?
Right now, I don't have a date, but it's gonna be sometime in October, probably towards the end of October.
Okay.
But I do put it up on Facebook. And then Tiffany, who's the owner of Barrio Realty, I try to include her with a lot of things that I do because I love working with her.
Mhm.
I've done seminars with Tiffany as well. She comes to me to speak as a contractor.
Right. Okay.
So a lot of times she'll even put it out there.
Okay. Now, just out of curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
the information you put out, I'm assuming it's bilingual?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, I get a lot of minority women who they don't speak English, so I do speak with them. I do sit with them. I am very well versed, of course, at speaking Spanish. So even if someone were to email me in Spanish, I am able to read it
Okay.
and understand it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we got about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
The hour goes by so
It
quickly.
does. Wow.
It just flies by.
It does. Wow. I'm surprised.
But you know something, it's a pleasure to have people like yourself, come and talk to us because, it provides hope and inspiration for people who want to start a business. And construction is a business that is important, very important
Absolutely.
for people who are looking to come out here from New York, from New Jersey, who want to build that dream home or buy that dream home, not knowing a lot about the construction aspect of it. All they know is, well, I got approval from the bank for a mortgage. But everything that goes into building that house,
Absolutely.
we don't know a lot about.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to be able to rely on people that look like us,
Absolutely.
that understand where we come from, that understand and can be patient with us and understand that
Absolutely.
we don't know a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
it's good that you came on, and any information that we've gotten today, please reach out to Maria, reach out to Blakesley Home Improvement, go on her website, call her if you have jobs for reconstruction, remodeling, or if you want to build that dream home, reach out to Maria Hernandez.
Thank you. Absolutely. Reach out to me because we will help you from A to Z.
You can't ask for much more than that.
No. Absolutely.
Well, Maria, I thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. And hopefully you can come back sometime in the future
Yes, absolutely.
and we can talk more about your business.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right. And have a good night, folks.
Thank you. Ooh, that was pretty cool.
We good, Dutch?
Give me 1 second.
We good, Dutch?
Yeah.
All right.